Hey guys, we are back with another video, and today we are going to be talking about the ISTP, which is one of the most logical and grounded personality types of all the 16 types. So let's get started. ISTPs are naturally very stoic and logical. They like to ground their perspective of how they see life in terms of reality and what is present in front of them. So for example, an ISTP, they are not one to really theorize or think about things that may not be possible. So for example, like, do aliens exist, right? ISTPs don't really think of that. What they do focus on is that, there are humans on Earth, there are people in front of them, and as long as there isn't any solid evidence that backs up any reasoning as to whether or not other life other than humans exists, they will not really think about it. So they like to ground themselves in kind of like the sciences and things that can be proven whether to be true or not. This is why you see a lot of ISTPs, they don't really like to talk about things like religion because there's not a lot of solid evidence to back it up. Whereas if you want to discuss something about science, so let's say, physics on how something might work, for example, let's say how the sun rotates around the earth, then, ISTPs love to talk about those things because it is grounded in, mathematics, it's grounded in science, it's grounded in things that can be calculated and can be proven with solid evidence. So when you're talking to an ISTP, and if you feel like they're not really listening to what you have to say, or they may be kind of cynical, or they may be saying like, you have no idea what you're talking about, it's not because they are trying to be rude, it's just that their perspective on how they see life comes from a very scientific, fact-based, logical approach. In terms of physical features, ISTPs, they have what I call like a dead man stare. So for example, if you look at an ISTP, let's say Undertaker, he's a great example of an ISTP, right? He's got this very stoic face, there's like no expression on his face, his lips, and his eyes are just kind of, staring off in the distance, very, calm, very focused. You can't really tell what's going on beneath the surface. And in most cases, if you don't know the ISTP, it looks like they may want to kill you. When in reality, this is just kind of, the resting face. This is their normal face, which is why ISTPs can seem kind of intimidating. So for example, bikers are a good example of this, right? Bikers have a bad reputation of like being aggressive, or like just because they have tattoos or because of their lifestyle, a lot of people kind of avoid them because they're afraid of, this big guy with muscles, and he's got like a rough outlook on life. When in reality, not all bikers are out to harm you. Some of them can actually be the nicest people that you can come across, but it's because of their facial features and their characteristics, and especially if they're an ISTP, which many bikers are, because they love that, rough, rugged outlook on life, living life without any rules. That's why that kind of perception comes in. And the last dead giveaway that someone might be an ISTP is that they like to keep their emotions bottled up inside of them. So it's very hard to kind of get an emotional reaction from an ISTP because they kind of practice the philosophy of being stoic. So they are not very emotionally reactive. They're capable of stepping back and analyzing a situation without getting emotionally involved. So for example, if you try to do something to piss them off, they'll just kind of stare at you, and they'll either tell you, just, you're being stupid, and if you're trying to get an emotional response out of me, it's not going to work. But then they'll say it with like a straight face. They won't get offended. They are very grounded and in control of their own emotions, which is something that they have difficulty understanding about other people, because other people tend to be kind of more wild with their emotions. They don't have as much control over their emotions as an ISTP does, who grounds himself in logic and doing what they believe is the best thing in a moment, which is why you don't see many ISTPs throwing emotional tantrums, because to them that is illogical, and it serves no purpose other than just to tire yourself out or make yourself upset. So if you're trying to spot an ISTP, the easiest way is to kind of look at their physical features. They are very rebellious. They do not like to do what other people tell them to do. They like to live life on their own terms. They like to be wild and basically do things their way. That is their motto on how to live life, which is everyone can live life on their own terms as long as no one else gets affected by what they do. So to sum up ISTPs, they could be said as live and let live. So I hope you found this video useful on ISTPs. And remember, if you meet someone who looks like they're a zombie, most likely they are an ISTP, or they just had a morning without their coffee. As always, I hope you got a lot of value out of this. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see. And as always, have a wonderful day. Peace out.